Hello, this is pretty much my first full effort video I'm going to be doing on this channel, and I was going to read like word for word on a 30-page script that I made for this video, but I decided that isn't really my style, and I don't really like how I sound when reading directly off a script, so I'm just going to be just spilling out my thoughts directly from my brain, and yeah, hopefully that'll go well. And excuse me if I ramble on a lot. This is Pillar Chase. I love Pillar Chase. I love me some Pillar Chase. So who knows how long the video is. It probably will be a good bit. And I will be saying lots of ums and uhs because that's just how I am. But yeah, I hope you enjoy this video. And feel free to disagree with anything I say. Feel free to share your own thoughts on everything. And yeah, let's get started. Now, to start off, I just want to say that I was going to go in like lots more detail in the script, but for now, I'm just going to be stating my thoughts and everything, and what I really do not like, and what I think would be best as a change. And yeah, to start off, when you go into the game, you go into the usual cabin, as you always do. The cabin is a bit different, and I really like all the new stuff and the new changes in the cabin. I don't know why Rika or Rika, I don't really know the best way to pronounce her name, but I don't know why she's here. She'll probably be here eventually. I really like her design. Her design is awesome, so I'm excited to see her in game. There's a map voting system now. Don't really know how to feel on that. I think it's fine as a feature, but I just think I personally prefer the normal map rotation that Precode has, because usually you can have like the issues of like playing a map a little too soon after already playing it. It's just I don't really know, but there is times where you'd like to play as a certain on a certain map when you're playing as monster. So I don't know, maybe ain't that bad. Practice mode is really great. Super glad it's there. Really nice to practice on monsters, classes, and just like replicating bugs, seeing what causes them. I do hope that you can do this with monsters and classes, like before you purchase them. I do not know if this for sure does this, since I wasn't able to practice it and I already have every single thing purchased, but I really hope that is possible. Another thing is that I wish abilities were on a very short cooldown, maybe like a second or so, because it can be a little annoying to wait out the full ability cooldown to keep on using it and trying it out. I also do wish there was an endgame UI within practice mode that made you change between monsters and classes, instead of you having to go out of the practice mode back in the game, having to go to the monster or class and then go in practice mode with them. But overall, the inclusion of practice mode is really great, and I'm glad it's in the game. Solo Monster and Double Trouble are brought back. No full audio clock though, which is unfortunate, but that is fine. I do wish the picking your partner in Double Trouble thing was still implemented. I'm gonna assume it's just, you know, it's Recode, it's not finished yet, it's gonna be implemented soon enough, but I really hope it does. One other thing, I do really wish you had the choice to like do Double Trouble or not. Like, if you're selected as monster and as Double Trouble, you have the option to not do it if you don't want to. I feel like that's been a feature that's been a long time coming, and I feel like it should definitely be implemented, because there's plenty of times where someone like wants to just play by themselves and not really want to play Double Trouble at all. One thing I really wanted to address, back when Recode first opened testing, it had a different lobby system where it was pretty much a queue system, like the queue systems that you'd usually see in games like Doors or any other types of door games or story games. And personally, I was a big fan of this feature because it fixed one of the big issues of Precode, that being the downtime between matches, especially if you die early within one. And like if you died early in a match or got an exit open in our map, that we'll get to that, you've got an exit open and you got through it, and you can just go out of the lobby and just go to another queue. That was just such a great feature. It was such a good start for Recode. And then people complained about it, and now it's gone. And that just frustrates me because that mechanic was so good. It was so relieving to have. It was honestly one of the best inclusions added to Recode, like, ever. But it hasn't really seen the light of day ever since it got removed. There was a mechanic, I'm pretty sure, where you were able to press a button and it'll put you into like another lobby, but it wasn't really all that reliant since it relied on Roblox servers, and sometimes it would just put you in your friend's server, and maybe that friend's server is just full and you can't really do anything about it. It's just, I really miss the old queue system, and I really hope they can do something similar that can help with that, but I don't know. I'm fine with the current system. It's just, I think the old one was just better. There is a new competitive mode that they are trying to implement in. Personally, I don't really think a competitive at all, like anything competitive mode or whatever, should be implemented into Pillar Chase. It is a very casual game, honestly. I don't think it works within Pillar Chase, and I just think it'd be better if it just wasn't in the game at all. I mean, it'd be fine. It'd separate the very sweaty players into their own category, which I guess is good. I don't have to deal with those. That's great. But it's just, I don't know. I don't really think it's necessary, and I just also don't want to go through all the pressure of like, oh no, I have to go into competitive mode and deal with all these really tryhard people and have to get all these really good skins because they look really cool, and I really want them, but I have to deal with this, and it's just I don't know. I think it might work, like, if you execute it right, but I just personally, I don't think it should be implemented. This isn't implemented yet, but the idea of a new AFK system was brought up. I really like it. One of the biggest flaws of the AFK thing, just overall, was, like, if you're about to be monster, there's a good chance that, like, some of the lobby is just AFK, and the lobby is pretty small, and you get an underwhelming monster round, and also just not a lot of experience. And now, how this new AFK system is going to work, once you press AFK, it brings you into a special little AFK hub. Maybe there's going to be, like, some little things you can mess around with, have fun with. And overall, this is much better because you don't have like the people that are AFK in your lobby sitting there, not only having you risk not having a good round, but also you don't have those people taking up space in the lobby, and you'll actually have people that want to play the game, which is so much better. I am really excited for this to be implemented. With that out of the way, let's talk about survivors. Objectives were changed. They are now global, and they require a significant amount of effort to complete. Not like a lot, but like they definitely require more effort to complete. They're definitely doable, like solo, and I like doing them solo more because that's more monster chance, and I like my monster chance, so I can be a monster. And yeah, I at first was a little worried about this change, but over time of playing Recode, I think this change is very nice. I like doing these things with other survivors. It has a little bit more interaction between survivors, and I like it. I am aware that like decent amount of people do not like this change, but personally, really like it. Much prefer over Precode. It also just keeps survivors more occupied with things, alongside exits. Again, we'll get to those. And then just overall, it prevents like you staying in a corner like quickly into the round, or just wandering around doing absolutely nothing. It's very good, very good. I like it. Exits, escapes, secondary objectives. Really do not know if every single one of them should be escapes or whatever, but I think how they executed like the variety of escapes is fine. I do like working from them after objectives. I usually like either doing them after objectives or kind of like trying to do both of them at the same time. I do really like that it's somewhat of like an optional end goal if you want to work for it. Every single map has like a different escape that functions differently, and the way you access them are usually differently. Some of them more different than others, but still it's some sort of variety. I really like the Pillars escape, where it's relatively easy to get, but if you're not careful and the monster is really dedicated to preventing people escaping, it is very, very risky, and also you and other survivors probably have to fight between the escapes, which I find really, really fun. I really, really like it. The problems that I have with some of the escapes is Gilgamesh's escape seems a little too easy to do. Like, once you memorize where all the keypads spawn and everything, you can get the exit open pretty quickly. The sewers exit feels like like it can never open. Like, I swear we can, like, people can never either never find the items, or they use the items. Not use, they get the items, but they just never use them or find the exit, and it just results in the exit never opening. Maybe there can be like 2, 3, I don't know, a little, like more than one of each item, but make the exit like require a little more work to be done on the exit for it to open to balance out the more items. But I don't know. Overall, I do really like escapes though. I like the inclusion, and I hope they stay. Items, few of them have been removed. Doom Gauntlet gone, thank god. Flashbang, didn't hate it all that much, but it's gone, don't really mind it. Stefano, gone, good. That's all the Amnesia rep gone though, so that's pretty upsetting. I mean, Dungeon is still kind of Amnesia rep, but you get what I mean. Serpent Grunt, why'd you have to go? The new items is health booster, really good. I like it. Again, more interaction between survivors, and is overall just a good healing thing. Glow sticks are a bit different. They now function like doors glow sticks. I'm not saying that they're like copying doors, but just like they function pretty much the same. You can throw them by dropping them, and they function more like a stationary light source that you can leave on the ground. And there's the lantern, which pretty much functions like how glow sticks did beforehand, but they're cooler and they're amnesia-like, so like it's awesome. The Bloxicola, which upon drinkage, it'll set your stamina to max for a few seconds, and then it'll drain a decent amount of stamina afterwards. I think this item is fine, but with a certain class, Time Shifter, it can be really, really dumb. The thing is, with the lights, like flashlights overall, the light sources, doesn't really work in Recode. The reason why is the maps. The maps just aren't really that dark, like, at all. Like, I guess Dungeon's like a little dark, but like, Sewers is probably the darkest map, but even then it's not really all that dark. And it doesn't really give me like, oh no, I need to find a flashlight or something, I don't feel safe without this flashlight, I need to see better. I don't really get that feeling in Recode. I often get that feeling in Precode. Not a Recode though, so I just don't really see the point of having a light source on me. And I know lots of people do not like the immense amount of darkness in Precode, but I do think it's necessary because, you know, it has monsters have the chance to sneak up on you, and, you know, it actually has, you know, flashlights and stuff have a purpose. But now that darkness is like gone, there's no point of having light sources now. And yeah, that's pretty much my issue with flashlights. An issue I have with items as a whole, you can have more than like one of each item now, which I think is pretty stupid. Like, and you can also buy like many of the same items from the shop now too. So you can just go into a game and have like 4 medkits on you. And if you have like Frontliner or like a really good class along with those 4 medkits, and you know how to avoid the monster and live with them well, you're pretty much unescapable. Like, it's a bit ridiculous, and I don't really think you should have more than 1 items. I think it was a good thing that you can only have 1 of each item, and I think it should be kept that way. And especially with blocks of code being really good with Time Shifter, a bit too good, if I'd even say it's an exploit. I don't think this should be a thing. One other thing. Why is sliding still a thing? Why is sliding still in the game? All it does is just make the monster experience worse. Doesn't make Survivor all that interesting. So why is it still in the game? All it does is just make everything frustrating. Why is it still here? Please, there's like no way of improving this mechanic. Just remove it. I'm being blunt. Just remove it. It's for the better of the game. Trust me, this ain't good to have. Some other things about survivors is that you can no longer get winded when at 0 stamina anymore. I don't get it. Maybe it's for like beginner players, which I guess makes sense. That is a pretty valid reason, honestly. But I don't know. Was it necessary? Like, couldn't people just learn to manage stamina? Like, I get like stamina management is still a definitely like needed like skill you need to learn in Pillar Chase. But I feel like if you just like keep being good at stamina management, it wouldn't be bad to just not go to 0 stamina. But I guess this would be good for beginner players and not just constantly be running out of stamina over and over and over. And who knows? I'm not all that sure about this new inclusion. Another thing, once you are bone broken, you now get a decent speed boost for a couple seconds, which in all honesty just kind of defeats the whole point of the debuff, but I guess it is understandable to have since you're going to be a bit more occupied with objectives, and if you were to be bone broken while doing an objectives just abruptly, you are just kind of screwed. But would that be fine? Like, isn't that like fair? I don't know. Maybe it's fine. It's just in Chase it feels like it just doesn't feel right. It's odd. I'll just let it cook. I don't know. I'm really unsure about it. Now let's talk about classes. Classes overall much better like system than upgrades. So much better. Upgrades were really not good. Were really not good for balancing at all. Classes very good for balancing. They have a set in stone like abilities, and they were made pretty early on in development, so you can easily just like make monsters balance around those classes. Were they balanced around the classes well? Mostly. We'll get into that. But yeah, let's talk about them. Frontliner. Not off to a good start. This class is a bit overtuned, especially against two certain monsters, those being Fogborn and Valem. I'm just gonna talk about why they are. Frontliner, Shield Bash, really easy to hit, and also decently rewarding. And it can be pretty annoying having to deal with Shield Bash. If you dodge Shield Bash, it doesn't matter all that much, I guess. I mean, it kind of does, but it just ain't really that punishing. There's some monsters that can counter Shield Bash decently, like A01 and his Whip, Vapor and his Teleport, or his Burning Cage, but monsters like Fogborn or Valem really suffer against this class, and it's really annoying. And the class, alongside like all of the duplicate items it can have and sliding, it's just it's too much. Like Fogborn, you don't have much of a way to catch up besides like maybe if you're sprint crawling with his impatience meter boost. Valem, if you had like a teleport, like an illusion or orb like placed like very very like well, then maybe, but even then it's like it's not really all that good. I don't know. Frontliner overall, I feel like Shield Bash should have some tweaks, if not just rework the ability entirely. It's relatively easy to land and the reward is pretty good. It's just kind of a escape out of jail free card somewhat for a decent amount of cases. And yeah, I don't know. Other classes I don't really have a problem with. Vanisher, unique class, I like it. Personally, I don't play it all that often because I just feel safer with higher health stats. Auxiliary, really cool to have too. That is my main class. It has the base stats. I'm the most comfortable with the base stats, and I like the very simple buffs that you can use. Visor is cool, I guess. Ain't really all that interesting to me, but it's neat. The flash can be a little annoying, but it ain't really anything all that major. U-Super? Pretty annoying. It isn't as bad as Frontliner, but it still can be fairly annoying. The charge, like, punch thing can be a little annoying, because, okay, I just want to talk about this real quick. Shield Bash and U-Super's charge can cancel some monster's abilities. For example, Vapor's Scorching Grip when he's grabbing someone, Striken's Custer when he's drinking it directly, or MX's Grab, or MX's Charge. Listen, I do not think that they should be able to cancel abilities, period, but it should especially not be able to cancel MX's Charge. That is just, I mean, more than canceling it, it stuns him. It forces the stun onto him, which is just ridiculous, especially now that when he gets stunned, it drains stamina. Like, I don't like it. Like, I guess it'd be fine with, like, the grabs, but with this, it definitely should not be stunning MX during his charge. That is just ridiculous. That is dumb. But overall, I like the inclusion of U-Super being based off the Doomfist Gauntlet, and I like that it's a little beefier. Time Shifter, oh my god, I was terrified when first seeing this. Ain't as bad as I thought it was going to be, but still, it's pretty scary. It's kind of scary. Energy, the burst ability, really easy to land, decently rewarding. Isn't as bad as Shield Bash, personally, I don't think, but it is still kind of stupid. I don't think it should be as easy to hit as it is. Rewind, I think it's fine. It's really, really good against, like, cliffs and stuff if you're able to bait out the monster with it and you utilize it correctly. But I think it's fine, especially since your stamina's paused after using it. But that alongside you being able to just refill your stamina with Bloxycola is it's a bit much. Maybe I think that's more of a Bloxycola problem. Maybe just have it so Bloxycola just doesn't work when your stamina is paused during that. It's just not it's a really deadly combo, and I don't think it should be a thing. But other than that, classes, really good addition. I like them a lot. Add a bit more spice into survivors without being way too, like, crazy, like, upgrades. Thank God. No, I think that's pretty much all I want to say about the survivor experience. Let's talk about monsters. First of all, Vapor. Overall, just all the, like, remodels, besides one, though, we will get into that. All the remodels, chef's kiss. It is beautiful. Everything is so high quality. Everything's so great. I'm so excited to see the skins. It's gonna be so good looking. It's gonna be so glorious. Vapor Scorching Grip, very solid ability. Really nice to just rack up a bit of damage in, and then M1 them to turn them to spider skulls. Demonic Shift, really, really good, if not a necessity to his kits. You're gonna need this during chases. Like, it's really, really useful. It's on, like, a pretty short cooldown, and it also can distort and deal damage to players. So yeah, pretty good. Burning Cage, also really, really insane. I'm pretty sure the burning debuff from it got nerfed a little bit, which honestly, thank God, it was kind of ridiculous. But still really, really good ability, especially really good after, like, right straight after Demonic Shift if you teleport on top of someone. Spider Skulls, really like how they're done here. I really like that you can become a Spider Skull if you're killed with Vapor's M1, and it's really fun working with the Vapor. And I do think the Spider Skulls are decently balanced. You can kill them as survivors if you're careful, and Spider Skulls can, like, work up their, like, bar of existing by doing good and landing their hits, and they can be pretty deadly if a Spider Skull knows what they're doing. So yeah, Vapor, great. Overall, glow up, beautiful. His diamond skin is also phenomenal. Cannot wait. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'll get more into ranked and all the diamond stuff later. Now the second monster, MX. MX is also really, really awesome. He has a new M1, where he pretty much punches and it deals 25 damage, small amount. But he also very, very recently got his old M1 back, but instead of replacing the punch M1, it's now an alternate M1 that you get from sprinting. Listen, I did miss the old M1, but I do not think it should be in Recode. It just does not work. Alongside it, okay, the grab ability that MX's has, if you charge it up like a decent bit, throw a survivor at a wall, and then use to stomp on them, they're dead. There's nothing they can do. They're dead unless you're like a U-Super player. But even then, you're bone broken, so you're gonna die soon enough. So I really do not know if this Stomp M1 should be in the game. I think MX was definitely fine with just a normal punch M1. It's just, I don't know. MX was fine before. Try Demise was great. I love if you like turn it correctly. It is super satisfying and super rewarding to use. Don't know how to feel about it taking stamina when hitting survivors or whatever, but still trying Demise great. Pow Hop, it's usual Pow Hop. It's cool. It works. I don't know why it can go through invisible walls. That just seems to be causing bugs, if not anything. I don't really see any good use of that, but the bugs can be funny, so. But the grab is nice. It is very good for dead zones, and it's just an extra bit of damage for my MX. And yeah, overall, MX is great. His remodel is fantastic, definitely better than the previous one. I feel like they could have made it a little different, maybe like a little more like unique than the pre-code design, but I still think it's just an overall upgrade. It's really great. Aoni is such a massive glow up from his pre-code moveset. Pre-code Aoni was just kind of lame. He had his shapeshift, but even then it wasn't really all that great. Not only did it like not have any, like it didn't have the custom animation packs that survivors have, so it just kind of just wasn't all that reliable. It doesn't really have that much like use in it being an actual disguise. In Onivision, it's just lame. It's a simple like vision ability, and it gives stamina. That's really all it is, and that's really all there is to pre-code Aoni. Recode Aoni though, so much better. The Grasshopper, really satisfying to land. Love using it. Very good in chase. Very good if you land it right. Ground break, not all that great. I don't see myself using all that much. I usually do perfectly fine with the rest of his kit. Maybe it can come out faster or something. I don't really know. It was pretty good like before it got all of its changes. Shapeshift, much better. You're actually disguised now, and you get a little bit of damage once you come out of it. Although it seems like it's going to get replaced with an upgraded Oni Vision, so I don't know how long that's going to last. New addition, Mini Onis, incredible. So much people have been asking for this, mainly the Oni fans, and I am so glad that it's in the game, because not only is it just really good for Aoni adds pressure, helps him a lot with like forcing survivors into it like his direction, but also it's just super fun to have lots of mini Onis following you around, or even just playing as a mini Oni. It's just overall great. But I honestly think Aoni is probably my favorite monster to play as so far in Recode. So yeah, massive glow up to Aoni. He has done really well in Recode, and I am super happy with him. There's one other idea that I have. Maybe like you can manually pick up the mini Onis and throw them like how you can with Fawadi and Double Trouble in Precode. But I don't know. I think both ideas could work, and I think this would help a lot with the frustration of just not having the minions do anything like at all. A01. He is slightly faster than usual, slightly weaker though. but he does have the strength of being able to stick to survivors and constantly be hitting those M1s, ranking up that damage. The cooldown on the M1 is pretty short, so you can definitely, keep aligning them. And the whip is really good with keeping you stuck on the survivors and continuing some more damage onto them. Although the whip has gone some recent nerfs, it is now a bit slower in the animation and overall just like startup and end lag, which I think it's fair since it was pretty unavoidable if you're in like a good sight of A01, but if you miss, you drain a decent amount of stamina, which I think is just a crowbar to the knees. It isn't really necessary, like especially now that the animation is significantly longer and you already have the extra end lag. I don't really think it's needed at all. Host form has like a complete different moveset now. It's not good. It's really not all that good, honestly. I'm sorry. The jump ability, it's a jump ability. It ain't really a jump ability. Your stamina is drained while using it. I don't know why it isn't paused like how MX's is. It works perfectly fine. I saw an idea for how the jump could be changed. I'm putting the image on screen. I don't really remember the name exactly. I'll also have that on the screen. I think this would work much better, and I do think it would just be really, really good for host form. The little piranha ability, I don't really remember the name, sorry. Also isn't all that great. You really need to use it like fast if you're in like a long hallway, but if a survivor knows to just go in a separate like corridor or behind an object, you're just like, you can't do anything. It's just, I don't know, I feel like the ability could be better in some way. I don't really know exactly how it could be better, but I think it could be better. And also, the absolutely no highlight during host form is just, why? I feel like any like extra form that is very limited and only strong if like you're on top of someone, which I guess every monster is, it's just like I feel like they require a highlight. Like at least have like the simple highlight that Stricken Tank has, where like everyone gets highlighted for a split second when you go into host form and after a kill. I don't know, something at least. I think it would help host form a lot. But overall, A01 pretty solid. Love his new voice lines. Actually, let me go this over real quick. I forgot to mention this. Vapor, MX, A01, kinda Aoni have brand new voice lines and they are incredible. The voice work in Recode is awesome. I love it a lot. And overall, just like the sound design is great in Recode. But A01 could have a fair bit of touches, but I do like the direction they're going. Stricken, first of all, redesign. It's fine. I don't really know what to think of it. It's okay. I do get they're trying to keep the simplicity and like get like the decent idea, like, oh, it's the Tinky Winky Slendytubby guy, but just different. It's just, I don't know. I feel like it could have been more interesting if they just like slid more into the unique like style. I'm gonna be crediting another person here, sorry, but I personally really love this person design. It's really, really good. Love it a lot, and I hope something like this does get changed to Stricken's remodel. Overall, his moveset though has a new projectile. That's a new source of getting your speed boost, which I think is a lot better and a lot more reliable than the custards. The new drinking ability, there's no point. You can just get your infection meter up much faster if you just shoot a custard with the shriek ability. And also that drinking ability can be cancelled by frontliner and use super, so yeah. And tank is also pretty good. His ground pound is actually good now. You can get a good amount of distance and it now damages people. But you can also jump at the perfect timing when he lands on the ground. And it is hard to learn when to jump, but once you get the hang of it, he can be pretty avoidable when he spams it. Rebel Toss, still in there. I don't really think it should be. I think it could be better if it was changed into a completely separate ability, like maybe a lightning ability. Tinky Tank does that in Slendytubbies 3, so I think it'd be cool. It's just Rebel Toss is just very, very situational. The only time you're going to be landing that is when, again, Soren is in the dead zone, duh, and when like you're out in the open in an open map, and like even then that's still kind of situational. I do like it's very blatantly like a Left 4 Dead 2 reference with the tank, but I don't know. I think it could be something different. But overall, I do really like the new Stricken, like moveset wise, much better than Precode. I know some people do miss Precode Stricken, but I just think the new Stricken is made overall better and just more fun to play as. I do think the custards, like being able to kill you, might be a bit much. Maybe so you can have it so when you get rid of a custard, the debuff on you goes away, but the debuff is a little more punishing, or it just simply the debuff just doesn't kill you. I think either one would be a good change. I don't know if both should be applied though. Now onto Valem. His recent rework kind of stinks. I'm sorry, I'm gonna be completely honest, it isn't all that good. The issue with his new rework is that his demonic shift ability is fine, honestly. I think that's good. It's just his illusions, and the way he gets sprint meter, it's just like, why? I guess it's cool that the illusions can move on their own, but that's really all there is to them. They also highlight people, which is nice, I guess, but people can just walk into them and they disappear. They're gone, and that's all the use they have to them. You can also charge them towards the survivors going after, which does damage if they come into contact. If they come into contact. And usually the AI ain't all that reliable for them to do that. And usually, like, all the prompts of teleporting to things and, like, you being able to command them to charge is, like, all over the place, and it's all, like, messy and jumbled up, and it's just, it's too much. It's too much. The whole mimic thing, to get your sprint meter up, you have to be, like, so close to someone to do it. And, like, yeah, they buffed, like, how much sprint meter you get from doing it, but it's just, like, it's not that reliable. Like, they can just run away, and by the time you get all your sprint meter, it's usually not enough sprint meter. The snap ability, I don't remember what it was called, again, sorry. The ability where he snaps, I don't really get the point of it either. I don't know if using it will have illusions deal damage or not, but it's there. And also, his new M1, like, being the Precode one, I thought it'd be cool to have, but all it does is just hurt Valem more and have, like, his stamina hurt more, him being just, like, slower to deal damage. I don't know. The recent changes to Valem haven't been all that good. I do prefer they went more in the direction of how he was going before the rework. I do like the idea of him being more, like, deceptional and more in, like, trickery, but it's just, how it is right now, it just doesn't work all that well. Why does the illusions not, like, drop items like how they do in Precode? That'd work with the whole trickery thing, would it not? I mean, as long as, you know, they make it so you don't get duplicates of the same items, which but overall, I do not think Valem right now is all that great. You could say I have a skill issue and he's just super complicated and I'm just not good with him. Maybe you're right, but it's just, right now, I just don't really see the good in his movesets, and I think he could be better. Although his remodel is really good though. It's great. I love it. His diamond skin's also really great. Phoenix did a fantastic job on it. I don't remember the name of the person who made the Vapor model. I know they made, like, the corroded Vita Mimic skin, which is also peak. I'm sorry I don't remember the name. I'm not good at remembering names. But yeah, you do a fantastic job. Last and recently added monster into the Pita Chased cast is Fogborn. And I must say, this is probably the biggest glow up between Precode to Recode. Like, overall, his model design, fantastic now. I love it. I love how it's more fishy. It's more like a unique take on, like, a sea creature. I mean, it still has a little bit of, like, liberties to, like, the Man from the Fog mod, but it's more of its own thing, and it's just so cool. I love it. The sound design is great. I love it a lot. Thunderwarp is back, but now has a tiny little bit of starter lag, and it has this duration on its Thunderwarp, like how old Fogborn used to be, so much. And now he has, like, a little, like, spinning lightning circle like right before he teleports for a split second, and now his thunder does damage, which I think is sick. I really love that. Fogborn, it really knows how to aura farm and recode for some reason. I don't know where he learned that. You have a bit of end lag after Thunder Orb, as you usually do, but you get significantly more end lag if you land on a survivor, which I think it's fair. I don't know if it's a teensy bit too much end lag, but I do think the idea is definitely a good idea. Foggy Stare changed, thank God. I hate Foggy Stare in Precode, at least. It sucks, I hate it. But now it actually has a bit of a charge, and it tugs on your camera if you're near Fogborn, which I think is really cool. I like it a lot. I think that is needed, and I like it. And instead of him entering instantly in like a rage mode thing, you're now stunned, which I think you can fight against. I couldn't really figure out how to exactly, but I think you can do it. And yeah, he can land some free hits on you, which is good, because if you just, like, if you looked at him when he, like, does the thing, it's kind of your fault, because it now has a pretty good indicator on when he does it. And, he can now crawl, he can now sneak. It's great. I love the new stealth to his moveset. I think it works for his new direction and his design overall. Better than Jeff's, like, sneaking thing. If he did, like, Precode Jeff's, like, damage, that would be insane. That'd be too much. That'd be annoying even. That'd be bad. But thankfully he doesn't. He still does good damage, but it's not that bad. His impatience meter, it's okay. This is weird. Usually it can be very inconvenient because it, like, starts up automatically, which makes me want it to be like a manual thing. But I feel like if it's a manual thing, it'd be too good. So, like, I don't know. I don't really know how to feel about this ability. If it's activated at a right time, it can be really good. And if you're not against a frontliner player. But, I do like the impatience mechanic. I like how you have to, like, you have to balance out, like, a risk and reward thing where you have to look at Fogborn for him not to get the meter. But once he uses the stare, you have to look away from him. I really like that. That's really smart. But, he also has, I forgot to mention, he also has a 2-swing like Aoni, and it doesn't do like 20 damage, it does 15, so he still does add, like, he still does 30 damage. And I'm super glad he has this, because he always did that swing thing in his M1 animation in Precode, and it's just like, why didn't he give that double swing to Fogborn? Like, it's in his animation, it's right there, like, why? But thankfully he has it now, and I'm a fan, I like it. Yeah, biggest glow up in Precode. I love it a lot. It's just, I feel like him, and especially Valem, really suffer against frontliner and U-Super players, and I think they are probably the better classes in the game, which maybe needs a little bit of touching on, but I don't know. But yeah, Fogborn, really great. One thing I forgot to mention, I don't know why I didn't mention this at the beginning of the monster talk, but monsters now have, like, exclusive, like, breakable walls or objects that they can go through that survivors can't, which is a fantastic change. This is great. Like, it helps with the whole, like, mostly with the whole looping problem, and like in some maps, in some spaces, it can be really useful to cut off survivors. Just very good change. One of the best changes ever. 2 issues I want to point out with Monster, just overall. First thing, I don't know if it's just a personal thing, but the first person camera, I usually prefer first person just overall in Pillar Chase. The first person camera as Monster isn't, like, set in, like, the POV in, like, the monster's, like, face. It's, like, set in, like, a prefixed area that I think is for all monsters, and it just, I don't really like it. It bothers me as, like, more than others as some monsters. It felt, like, really smooth and nice in Precode, and I hope they bring it into Precode. One other thing, the way you get time from a kill, I think, should be adjusted. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure how it works now is how long a chase is going on for. Now, you can tell that can be pretty inconsistent, and especially as Valem, since he cannot sprint, like, majority of the time, chases aren't gonna last that long. So the amount of time you're gonna be getting ain't gonna be that much either, and Valem already struggles a lot. Like, a lot. But Maybe they can just make it so the amount of time you get per kill is determined on like the latest kill, and the first kill in the round could be based on how long the match started. I don't know, that's my personal idea on how it could work, but maybe there's better ideas, but I don't know. I just think this should be adjusted. But overall, monsters, really, really good. Monsters are always great in Pillar Chase, hard to go wrong with them. And I think, like, all the monsters that were brought from Precode to Recode are an overall upgrade. Besides Valem, mostly, but yeah, I think it is all good all around, and I enjoy playing all of them. Alright, now, let's talk about maps. First off, Ancient Dungeon, really, really, really good map. I would honestly say, best map in the game. The objectives are simple, fun to do. I do understand why people don't like doing the notes objectives, but personally, I really do not care. The escape is simple, but nice. The breakable wall placements are probably the best in any other map, and overall just the layout is just really, really great and just balanced overall between all monsters and survivors, and it's just all goody all around. Internal Abyss, really didn't like this map for a while, but I do think it has grown on me a bit. The objectives are a little bit tedious, but they have been made to be better. Breakable walls were also really not all that good, but or as well made a lot better, like placements all around. The escape isn't all that different from Ancient Dungeon's escape. I would say it's probably a little weaker since it's more in the dead end than the escape in Dungeon. But overall, I think the map's alright. I don't think it's all that bad. It's definitely improved, but I think it's a welcome inclusion. Pillars, really cool map, like the aesthetic a lot. I'm just gonna say this now, really did not like the layout of Pillars beforehand. Like, the rework, I think visually, I really thought Pillars really needed like a visual upgrade, and I'm glad it did. The upgrade, it was huge, but the layout made like the pillars smaller, and there was a lot more pillars, and I just didn't like it. But thankfully, this map isn't just a grid by grid layout, and it's a lot better just overall. Objectives, really nice, really cool. I already talked about the escape, it's nice, I like it a lot. And this map holds the best source of getting monster chance, aka the vent objectives. I try as much as I can every single round on this map to get all the events done all by myself as fast as possible, and then I try and go straight for the exit. Like that, you're gonna get the best amount of monster chance from this. Trust me. Try to lock in on vents whenever you get pillars, and you're gonna get insane amounts of monster chance. Like, one round I got like 62 and I got from like 20 monster chance to 80 monster chance in one single round on this map. It was insane. But overall, great map. It is a big improvement from the Precode version. Gilgamesh, also massive upgrade. Precode Gilgamesh was honestly one of the worst maps in the game, but I'm really happy to say that it's much better now. Objectives, the blood vial is actually satisfying to do instead of just holding E for like 10 seconds. The keypad is pretty much the same, if not better. I mean, it's just the keypad, but just there's numbers and you do it more. I don't know. The map layout overall, much better. It used to be still kind of a big loop, which I didn't mind all that much since the loop wasn't all that big and there was more to the map than just the loop. But I think it's fine with how it is. As I said already, the escape feels a little too easy to get. I do like the inclusion of the camera system. I loved that so much. I love my FNF. I do wish the camera system had like a digital map layout. Five Nights at Freddy. I just think it would just make this camera system like overall be even more useful. And I mean, it ain't really all that useful on its own, but I feel like the digital map layout would make it a lot more useful, and also just cooler. The sewers map, it's alright. I like the reference. I like that it's indoors. I just want to say that now. I do not like outdoor maps. I much prefer indoor maps. I think they just work better and they're a lot less annoying, and they usually have a better reputation than open maps. The steam hazards, I understand how they can be annoying, but usually if you just avoid the monster and try to get them like done as fast as possible, which usually isn't all that like troublesome, they aren't that big of a deal. The generator objective feel like could be a bit more unique, but it's fine. As I said for the escape, wish it was not as team reliant to do. I mean, all objectives require a lot of teamwork, and you definitely need a team to do it, but I feel like this escape is like especially, if not like only, like you need a team for this, like for sure. But overall, I think the map is also pretty alright. I think it's around there with Eternal Abyss, with being just a decent map. Ridge, oh my god, okay. Ridge. This is definitely the worst map in the game. Well, in my opinion, at least. Open map, pretty big. Already off to a bad start. And also, this is probably the best map to exploit sliding. There is literally a slope, like a pretty big slope in the middle of the map that I've seen good players utilize, and it is so annoying. This map brought like probably my first ever like severely frustrating round on Recode, and that says a lot. Like Recode's been open for like 6 months, 5-6 months, I don't know, and it took that long for me to finally have a frustrating monster round. It happened. It got to that point. It's just I just feel like if sliding were to be removed, this map would be a lot better. It's just, and also the map is just big, open. I'm not going to be liking these maps all that much, but nothing you can really do. There's also like the front entrance of the cabin. You can jump over the fences. I don't know why you could. You can't jump over the fences in like the sewers. You could, but that was changed because that wasn't, you know, it shouldn't be like that, and it shouldn't be like this in the Ridge. I don't know why it is. Same with the fences in that little hut thing. I don't really remember what it's called, my bad, but I don't think you should be able to jump those either. The escape is cool. Conceptually, I think is really, really cool. I also find it hilarious that the Pinky Juniors are piling in it. I think that's really funny. Overall, aesthetically, this map is definitely my favorite, but like playing on it, Survivor, it's fine. Monster usually isn't all that great, and I've been getting this map a lot as Monster, which is upsetting. And this overall, this is probably the weakest map in the game. I don't think it's like a bad map per se, but it's definitely the weakest one so far. And there's also one big breakable wall. I don't really know how to describe it exactly. It's like in between the hut area, in between the bridge. It's a big like wall that's made out of rock and rubble. Usually you can't like break that without being like in the direct middle of it if you're like up against it like really closely. I feel like that should be touched on a bit, make the hitbox a bit bigger, make it so if you actually hit it anywhere else where like, you know, the breakable wall is, it actually does its thing. But mostly the maps have been pretty good. I think the map design has been improved since Precode. Still has its flaws, but I do think it is an improvement, and I like these maps, besides Ridge, a good bit. Alright, now that we have gone pretty much everything that's in the game right now, and my thoughts on it, let's talk about the future of Recode. Let's start off with the release date. This was announced back in October, so pretty much it was said that Recode will fully release within the next 6 months. It's been about 4 months since this announcement, so Recode will release within February of this month, or March, or April. I personally, if I were to guess, I'd say probably April, since I just think that'd be the best time for it, and also that's when Pillar Chase 2 has its 2nd anniversary, so I think it'd be pretty fitting. I feel like if they need time, like extra time, they should probably delay it. I think that'd be a good solution. They really don't want them to force themselves to be on like a certain deadline and brush some things and result in the release not being all too swell. They should definitely take their time, and I hope they don't like rush themselves at all in like go through any issues or troubles because of the release date. It's also been stated that there will be a roadmap for once Recode is released, so they'll pretty much just show off details on monsters and like what are confirmed and being confirmed and what their place is in development. This is really nice to have, since, you know, we've pretty much been going off like, oh, who's gonna release next? Oh, what are they gonna start teasing next? Like, ever since Pillar Chase 2 released. And that has been fun, but I do think it'd be nice to actually have a good idea on how they're going to, you know, handle, like, releases and what monster's gonna release when and what are they gonna do with them. Another thing to note is that collab monsters will be prioritized over other monsters. These monsters being Suitmations, the GOAT, and Palpercy. Monsters like Tricky, they aren't collab monsters. They don't have like direct like influence by their creators. They just have permission from the creators to be used in Pillar Chase. So if I were to guess, expect Palpercy like not too long after the release of Recode. And hopefully you Palpercy fans can be fed. There's also the Ultra M update, which is also planned to be shortly after release of Recode. I don't know if this is counted as a collab thing, but it still is stated to release shortly after Recode, as I said. I've been super excited for this update since I really like Ultra M. I was pretty disappointed to hear that he wasn't going to be a playable character, but the fact that he's going to be included at all and all the content's going to release in this update, I'm still really, really happy to hear about. Now, let's talk about upcoming monsters. Okay, you have no idea how excited I've been finally get to this part. First off, let's start with Suitmation. He's finally in the game. After so long of waiting, he is finally kinda in the game. Yeah, my god. You have no clue. Only two people have a clue. You have no clue how crazy I flipped out when, like, he was first getting teased and shown off back in, like, October. That was insane. I've never felt so hyped and excited in forever. Like, I'm a massive Godzilla fan. I've been a huge fan ever since I was a kid. I watched so many of the movies on repeat. I'm a big Noloticus main. I love Noloticus. I got him to Diamond, my first ever Diamond ever. And Suitmations has been, like, my most wanted, well, most hyped, personally, like, ever since he was revealed. And now that he's finally in the game, I'm finally seeing him in the game. It is just incredible. I've been rewatching, like, the gameplay video. I've been searching up, like, every single day for sighting videos, especially when testing's open. And I've just been rewatching them so many times. And, like, oh my god, he's so cool. He's so cool. Like, his sound design is incredible. Probably the best sound design work by far for any monster. It is fantastic. I love it so, so much. His chase theme, it's kind of hard to hear since you only have, like, clips of it and ain't officially uploaded. But it is, from what I've heard of it, it is awesome. I love how it's a reference to, like, the classic Godzilla theme that pretty much everyone knows. And it's just, oh my god, his abilities, everything, it's so, so cool. I cannot wait to play this guy. I'm getting this guy Diamond as soon as possible. I don't care if it's going to ruin my mentality. I'm going to be doing it. It's going to be awesome. I cannot wait. I'm not going to be delving into his moveset yet since he's unreleased and unfinished. And he has been changing a good bit, like, throughout his, like, existence in the game. But once he releases, I will be making a video on him. I don't know if I'm going to be making, like, videos for every, like, brand new monster, but I will definitely be making a video on Suitmation's release. That will for sure be happening, and it's going to be a blast. It's going to be awesome. I cannot wait for this. It's going to be awesome. I also cannot wait for his Space Godzilla skin, which might be his Diamond. I personally would rather have it be, like, just its own legendary or ancient skin, but I really would not mind it being a Diamond skin. It's just, Suitmation is so cool. I love Suitmation. Although sadly we won't be getting Suitmations until around the release of Recode. We do know who's going to be next, though, in the Recode testing phase. That being the Rosemary, which means we'll soon have the full Beware the Rain trio completed. Again, we'll be going into her moveset yet, since she is clearly unfinished, and I'm not entirely sure how her moveset works yet anyway, but I do really, really love her new design. As per usual, the remodels have been popping off. I like the red for the roses all over her. I just really hope she isn't super annoying to go against like how she is in Recode, but I have my hope. She has already been spotted like a lot in games, so hopefully she'll be coming in Recodes very soon. There's also a recently announced monster that is coming soon. I mean, not coming soon, it's going to be a good while until they release. That being Cutie Pie, the representative for My Little Pony horror, has finally made it. I know Blade has been like really wanting this to happen in Pillar Chase, and I am honestly surprised that so much people have been super like supportive and like positive about this inclusion. I'm glad that people are. I like it. I really like the inclusion, and I'm interested in how they're going to be done. I remember seeing like so much of this like stuff like in the early 2010s, and I think it fits for it to be represented in Pillar Chase, since it may, even if like no matter if it is or not, I've always like viewed Pillar Chase as a big like celebration for internet horror and stuff. So yeah, this inclusion is great, and I'm glad it's here. Next, we have PCX's return with its new redesign, and I am in a large group that really loves this new redesign. I love how much like unique it is. I love how it looks a little more like a hedgehog, and I overall just hope that PCX goes in a much more unique direction than it just being, oh, it's Sonic.exe again, but different looking pretty much. I really hope like they'll like incorporate like the two soul thing into the moveset in some way. And I really am praying that the moveset ain't super annoying like how it was in Recode, because I'm pretty sure a majority of us at the very least really do not like his Recode moveset like at all. I mean, it might have been fun to play, at least at times, but going against it was atrocious, let's be honest. Springtrap has also been replaced by a character named Stonehusk. I do not know if this is like a different take on Springtrap, or just a completely different take, like different version of Springtrap as a whole. If that makes any sense, like a whole different character. But I'm relatively interested. The redesign is a little weak. I feel like they could have been a bit more unique with it, but I still like it. I really like the abandoned theme park map, although I don't really know what's going on with that since the video has been deleted. But yeah, let's hope that the production on him will go well, and I am interested in how they're going to handle him. I will miss the axe toss from Springtrap though. That ability was really great. Besides Phantom Step and Ventilation Error, they can stay rotting. There's also Autorlair, which hasn't been seen for like months. They've had lots of sightings like mid-2025, but that's really it. But they are really cool in Recode, and I'm very interested. I love how stealthy they are. I love Autorlair as a whole. I love the design. I really like Snow Case Owl. I am very excited for the future of that series. Phoenix, you do a great job with it, and I'm very excited to see them in Recode. I'm guessing they're probably gonna have a third ability, since that seems to be like the formula of all like the monsters. They're gonna have like at least 3 abilities, and I'm glad that every monster is having at least 3 abilities, because I always think that like monsters with only like 2 was a little too like little, but yeah. Phantovinator is sadly now listed as unconfirmed but like Phantovinator was one of my most hyped monsters, and it's very upsetting to hear that he may or may not be in the game at some point. It's understandable the owner isn't on Roblox. I don't even think they're on the internet anymore, so who really knows what's going to happen with him. Let's hope that he'll stay in Pillar Chase, but if he doesn't, it's a bummer. Nothing can be done about that. Vita Mimic and Jeff also got lots of brand new remodels, which look incredible. As usual, there is barely any misses on these redesigns and remodels. I really hope Vita Mimic's Elder skin is upgraded into like an ancient, or at least like a diamond skin, and like the size of the skin will be like much bigger, since like Elder Mimics are like 10 feet tall. I think that would be awesome. Speaking of rank skins, I've already mentioned this, but rank skins are changed a lot. They are more like milestones and not like the colored material, like metal material that corresponds to the rank that doesn't really always look all that great. The whole milestone concept they're going for now is much cooler, I think. It leads to a lot more like freedom and a lot more ideas and stuff. And they're also giving diamond skins a lot more value, like giving them like their own unique portraits and renders. Maybe they could have unique chase themes, maybe custom innovations, maybe. And I'm probably asking for a bit much, but it'd be cool if it is possible. I think diamonds being upgraded to ancients would be really sick with all these new like additions added to them. Although I don't know if they should be upgraded to ancients if they go with this next idea that I'm going to mention of there being a master rank at like level 150, aka the ruby rank. I am unsure about the idea. I mean, a rank above diamond that is ruby is cool on paper, but wouldn't it like decrease the value and excitement of reaching diamond? I don't know, I feel like it would tamper with the whole ranking system a little much, and I don't know. We'll just have to see how it goes if it is implemented at some point. I also really hope that ancient skin recoloring is a lot more advanced and gives you like more freedom on what specific parts you want to recolor. This ain't really like that big of like a deal to me, but I feel like if it's possible, it'd be a cool addition. Since we're on the topic of ranks and levels, I want to do a deep dive into a discussion about the leveling system, which will require us to do a bit of math. Over the lifespan of PSE2, the monster leveling system hasn't been the greatest and hasn't been all that consistent. Pretty much the way it works now is that it's measured on damage and XP from kills, but it acts a bit weird. Let's take an example. For example, let's say for every 1 damage you deal, you gain like 4 XP. Now if we follow the rules of the current XP system that's in Recode, and I'm pretty sure Recode as well, any sort of damage from monsters will have like a set amount of XP given from landing them. So if a Rosemary M1 deals 30 damage, and it takes 4 hits to kill a survivor with 100 health, if you multiply the damage times the amount of XP per 1 HP, you get 120 XP per M1 hit. If you add up all 4 M1 hits, you get a total of 480 XP. Now, let's compare this to a Fawadi Silly Rush. His Silly Rush deals 85 damage and can kill a survivor with 2 hits. So if we do the same calculation we did with Rosemary, we'll see that each hit with Silly Rush will give 340 XP upon hit. Now if a Fawadi lands both Silly Rushes on a survivor, they'll total to 680 XP, not including the kill XP. See the issue here? The current XP system can be very inconsistent. The higher damage attacks usually deal like a significant more damage than smaller attacks, like damage attacks, and that results in them overall just giving a lot more XP, which is... Now, how do we fix this? Simple, we make the XP be measured based on the amount of health taken from survivors. Let's bring back the Silly Rush example. With this new version in the XP system, here's what will play out. The first Silly Rush will hit, giving 340 XP upon hit, because it takes 85 damage from the survivor, as it usually will. Then, once the second Silly Rush hits, it'll take away the 15 remaining health that the survivor has. Now we'll multiply the 15 by the amount of XP you get per 1 HP, which is 4, and we get 60 HP from this second Silly Rush that hits, adding up to a total of 400 XP. If we bring back this Rosemary scenario, the first 3 hits will still give 120 XP since we've taken away 30, but then the survivor will be left at 10. Now we multiply 10 times 4, and we get 40 XP on the 4th hit, all adding up to 400 XP. Looky there, we now have a consistent XP monster system. Along with this, all monsters will still receive 350 XP on kills. No matter if survivors will get killed by M1, abilities, status effects, or whatever. Monsters will be also given the XP from minion damage as well, such as Spider Skulls and Mini Onis. Both monsters in Double Trouble will also share each other's XP with each other, so doing Double Trouble won't feel like an obstacle while you're trying to do certain ranks on monsters. This is what I think is the best way to execute the XP system, and I really hope this idea is heard and considered, because I think this would help so much with XP grinding and all of that. Okay, the class time's over now. I hope you've gotten my point from that. Since we're on the topic of level, I want to address survival levels real quick. I think they're fine, but I have the idea of, like, wouldn't it be, like, a bit more interesting if every single class had their own, like, level system? Like, it would overall, like, take as long to get to max as it would for a monster. You'd get XP from successfully using things with your class, and you'd also have rank skins, which I think would be really, really fun, along with other skins for the classes. If I were to choose between the classes levels and like the main survivor level system, I think I would like prefer having both of them. But if I were to choose between the two, I would rather have the class levels. Getting the XP for classes would probably depend on if it's going to be the only XP system or not. If it is going to, like, the only XP system, then I'd say it should take in like the requirements of gaining XP as the main survivor leveling system would. Alongside those levels ideas, what if Pillagers had like achievements and quests? Like, you had daily quests, and maybe you could like have the quests like be dependent on a specific monster or class if you want to, and doing the quests can give you like some coins and XP, and the XP can help you get levels a little bit faster. Not too much, but like just a bit more to, you know, feel nice to do. Achievements could be like longer time goals where you'd be working on it for quite some time, but it would be like really, really, really fun, I think. Like killing 75 survivors with your M1 as Vapor and turning them spider skulls, or escaping 100 times as Survivor, or getting a diamond rank on a monster, or getting to the top of the competitive leaderboard at the end of a season. I don't know, I think there could be lots of like potential achievements for Pillagers, and I think it'd be really fun. And maybe you can like see all the achievements on everyone's profile maybe, and like what achievements they have and which ones they don't. I think these features just all together would incentivize a lot more things for people to do. I think it'd be really, really fun. Another idea I have is, what if there was like an alternate spectate system called Ghost Mode? You've probably seen this like in other games before, but like pretty much you just spawn in as like an invincible ghost that no one else can see other than other ghosts, and you can like freely move around the map at high speeds, and you're able to like spectate like the match at like different angles. This ain't like a big suggestion, this isn't like a big priority on like my ideas, but I think it would just be a nice extra cool addition. Also, please add the rat upgrade as a class or something, please. It'd be so awesome and so hilarious, and I'll main that class for the rest of my life. Please. One thing that I really hope is done with Recode is that it leans a little more into the goofier side. So far it has leaned in a good bit into the darker and serious tone, which I do like. I like it a lot. I like my more darker horror. But Pillar Chase 2 I've always found to be a pretty good mix between horror and goofiness, and I feel like Recode should slide a little more into goofiness. Like, for example, the Pinky Juniors in the helicopter is a really good example of that. And overall, we should have like more goofy game modes, like Wadio Clock. Maybe there can be like a game mode where there's one very strong and fast survivor and everyone else is monster. I don't know. I think there could be lots of things that can be messed around with that. Overall, I'm just super interested to see all of like the pre-code stuff remade, and especially the classic stuff. Like characters like Samsonite, Riskin, Baldy, EXE, if he actually does return. Alongside maps like Schoolhouse, The Joy Creation, Oni's Mansion, and Eclipse. It's just gonna be great seeing all these like characters that we're also familiar with, like with a brand new like fresh coat of paint and a whole like different moveset. It's gonna be great. Maybe like for Baldy, he can be a lot more like his modern version in Baldi's Basics Plus, and maybe not have him kill people. Maybe like he can tag them and survivors just sit down and don't just rip apart and die. EXE, I think he could be a lot more unique than being a Trapper character. I really do not think Trapper characters like EXE, I don't think they'd work in Recode, and I think we should probably resist having those types of characters. Samsonite, I think we should really keep the doors and domain, but I really am unsure about keeping the whole dance meter thing and having that be like the only way he can catch up to people and kill people. But yeah, I think keeping his domain indoors would be cool, and I feel like that's like a crucial part of his character and moveset. My goat, Niloticus, is going to be crawling on walls. Don't know how that's going to be done, but that's going to be terrifying. Vita Mimic, they could, like, alongside them, like, getting stronger over time statistically throughout the round, maybe, like, he can work towards, like, an Elder form. Like, if you were to choose between Elder being, like, a skin and, like, a built-in mechanic, I would much prefer it being a built-in mechanic. Because, like, imagine, like, alongside, again, the statistic, like, getting stronger thing, you can, like, work towards the Elder form, which is going to be, like, a permanent, like, form you'd have throughout the round. And just, the Elder form is just overall a much more intimidating, stronger, and aggressive version of the Vita Mimic. And I think that'd be a pretty cool addition to Mimic's moveset. Forest King, I'm really excited to see the remodel. I think the remodel that was shown off, I think, like, a year ago? A little over a year ago. That remodel was fantastic. People that were really upset about it were pretty immature, and that upsets me. And I really, really want to see her with, him with the sliding mechanic back, because I really thought that was a really fun and nice addition to his kits alongside the rework. Inkfell, I really hope they keep, like, the amount of complexity and zoning capabilities, because one of the things that made me love Inkfell, not just because it's the Ink Demon, it's bendy, I love the Ink Demon a lot, but I also love, like, the amount of, like, map and knowledge you require to, like, place portals around, and I just thought that was just so fun and, like, engaging to work with. But I do not know if it work with Recode. Probably just, like, tone it down a decent bit. I don't know. I'm worried that it's going to be completely changed, and I just hope he's done well. Fawadi, I think Fawadi should be bigger to be more, accurate to his source material, and I hope he has, like, some sort of ability where, like, he splits into two, and maybe, like, that second Fawadi could be, like, maybe on command you can have him silly rush, or just be, like, a moving AI that moves on its own. I don't know. I think Fawadi should definitely keep a silly rush as a stable that definitely should be kept in. But, yeah, I think Fawadi could have potential to do a bit more too. Wisp, I don't really know what's going to happen with Wisp. I hope they change his frenzy thing, if not completely rework it, because it was fun, but ultimately it just doesn't really work. I think double bombs, like, could still be fine. That's kind of a Wisp stable, you can't really get rid of that. But I really hope they adjust him a good bit so he isn't, like, a big noisy siren 24/7 that you can just easily avoid. But I'm excited of what can be done with him. Overall, just super excited for everything. I cannot wait for this game to be fully finished and we see the entire cast in the game. It's gonna be a fantastic accomplishment once that time comes around. Oh, one last thing I want to mention before I come to the conclusion of this video, and this is probably the most important thing I have to say. You better keep the apple tree poster in Schoolhouse once the map gets added to Recode. If you do not, there will be punishment. There will be repercussions. You will acknowledge the apple tree. We have finally reached the end of this long video. God, this took a bit too long to make, but I really hope it's all worth it in the end. Now, do I think Recode is better than Precode? Most definitely, yes. Yeah, Recode has its noticeable flaws, and I've gone through them in this video, but even with the flaws, it is such a big improvement from Recode. It's overall just more fun, higher quality, better made. It's all great stuff. Again, this is my opinion. Feel free to disagree with any of the thoughts I shared. I just personally think Recode is just a much nicer experience than Precode. Like, whenever I hop on Recode, I often think, like, man, I wish Recode testing was open right now. And the thing is, Recode isn't even near from complete, and I'm already thinking that. It's just amazing how much the Blade and, like, the rest of the developers has improved and learned from Precode. They deserve lots of love and support for the amount of effort they put into this game. I thank the developers so much for Pillow Chase. This is generally one of my favorite pieces of media ever, and it's helped me through lots of really rough times. It has also brought me lots of memories between me and my friends, and it's just, it's great. I also want to thank other content creators for inspiring me for making this video. The two goats I want to thank the most are Nyx and Clumsy Fumble. Their content is really fun to watch, and I rewatch their stuff pretty often, and I often have their videos just play in the background while I'm doing things. If you're like hearing people ramble about ASIM stuff, I really suggest checking them out. They're really, really enjoyable. And I especially want to thank you for sitting here through this long video of me just rambling about this silly horror game. I don't have much confidence in myself on how well this video will end up, but I hope you at least enjoy this. I do not know how much more content I'm going to be making. All I can promise is that the Submissions video shortly after he releases will happen. If you care about any of that stuff, feel free to subscribe or whatever. I'll see you then.